Welcome back, guys. This is going to be a quick video, so I will keep it short. So last night, we actually had a live stream with One Peg and Iron Mace. So I listened to the entire live stream, and I put together a list of probably the more important points that were brought up. One of the major things that I was worried about was the Cleric res spell. They clarified that the Miracle spell that was shown in the trailer to res 2 players will actually be using an additional perk slot on top of the spell slot, and it'll only be usable once per run. That includes all floors, so it's not just once per floor. It's like you use it once per run. That's it. Similar to the Life After Death. They did not mention anything regarding the cost of the spell, but I mean, the fact that it uses up a perk slot and it's only used once is a pretty big deal. So there's one thing here that they glossed over super quickly, and it was the new perks, spells, and skills for both Wizard and Cleric. So I'll be putting those on the screen now if you want to look at them. Next up was the Wizard Sleep spell. One Peg brought up a really good point that, used in combination with, teamwork, you'd have the Wizard sleep somebody, and then you have a team who just, pulls out a windlass and just blasts you in the head. So what are they doing to prevent that from happening? They said that initially it would make the target drowsy, and then they fall asleep briefly. It would be a projectile spell, so it's not hit scan. So it will be dodgeable. So that's pretty much all the information we have on the sleep spell as of this moment. The Wizard Polymorph spell will actually morph the Wizard if he misses. So there is a penalty for missing that spell, which is very risky. In fact, that's so risky now that it might not be worth running. So I think they realized how incredibly busted that would be if you could be running both sleep and polymorph without risk. So they've added something to it, but I'm sure we'll see more balances to it as well. Additionally, to the polymorph, they didn't specify whether it was going to be hit scan or projectile. As far as rogue changes, they said that Hyde was going to get a huge nerf because they want to disincentivize the landmine playstyle, which I agree with. I think getting landmined is just not fun, but we'll see what they do with the other skills. They said that they are looking to buff other skills that haven't gotten as much use, especially with the rework of Season 9. So we'll have to I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll report back. Next thing was the Season 9 drop rate is going to be the new baseline. They actually boosted the rates from Season 8 to Season 9, and they said that Season 9 just felt better. So Season 9, at the start of Season 9, the drop rate you have in dungeon, that is going to be the baseline going forward. Bandages might be craftable in the future. That was something that was asked by One Peg. All other consumables are craftable except for the color bandages. So that is something they said that they might look into. But they didn't make any promises. The HR changes, the entry fee, and the gear score requirement were made to combat crows, as they call them, but rats. Essentially people who come in with nothing, like Squire gear, and just go around to loot dead bodies after fights, or just loot even mid-fight sometimes. I know that Druid got some nerfs as well with how their looting mechanics work in previous seasons, because that was kind of the go-to class to go be a rat, literally. As far as the start of Season 10, the minimum gear score requirement for High Roller will be lowered to 140 during the solo self-found period at the start of the wipe, but it will return to, I believe, 280 after that period opens. Once the market opens, the gear score will climb again because it'll be a lot easier to gear up. They said that a lot of core features are missing for a 1.0 release, which they're still aiming to do at some point. He said that he didn't want to give a timeline just because he sucks. Terry said he sucks at timeline management, essentially, but at least he's honest about it. So, but some of the things he said that they were missing was social features, some kind of training progression thing, I think maybe for onboarding new players, and that they are also currently working on a housing system. So as to what that looks like, they've talked about it in the past. Some maybe like a tavern where other players can come, to your tavern or something like that. But really they didn't share any details. So that's about all we got for that. Another interesting tidbit that they mentioned at some point, just randomly, was that Sorcerer has the lowest win rate statistically. They didn't share any other win rates, but I just find that very interesting because sometimes like you go up against a really good Sorcerer and it just feels so oppressive because they like just throw spells and spells and spells and just constantly run away from you because they have no move speed penalty for having a weapon or book in their hands. So that was actually really interesting to see. But I'm sure that there's, you know, like a handful of really good sorcerers and most just aren't as good. So it's a skill issue, maybe. I don't know. But again, I don't know how you balance for something like that. Next thing that they touched on was they said that they wanted to have 3 floors for every map. That's something that they're aiming to do, especially in regards to the Goblin Caves. When asked about like the Goblin Caves having like a 2-tier system and if that was going to be like how it was going to stay, they said that really going forward, their plan is to have 3 maps for every map, or sorry, 3 tiers to the dungeon for every map. And last but not least, the Ranger updates will be a little lacking because they said they were not happy with the changes that they implemented. So they actually pulled them out of the patch. So at the start of the wipe, there might not be any changes to Ranger, which is fine. I thought like some of the stuff that they added in season 9 was cool with the overdraw, the explosive arrows, and so that is pretty much some of the stuff that were highlights out of that 2-hour. Yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on moving into season 10, what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to. I know that I will certainly be there day 1, so I will see you in the dungeon.